This one's from Alex. He's 17 years old, and I already feel like I've wasted what are supposed to be the best years of my life. I don't have many friends, I've never been to a party, and I've never been in a relationship. Most weekends I stay in my room watching videos or scrolling while everyone else seems to be out living. At school I talk to people, but I don't feel like I belong anywhere. I'm not bullied, but I'm also not included. I feel invisible in a way that's hard to explain. Teachers say I'm doing well and my parents say I have my whole life ahead of me, but that doesn't help when every day feels the same. What scares me is the thought that this is how it starts, that I'll blink and be older, still feeling behind, still wondering when my life is meant to actually begin. I don't want to look back and I realised I never did anything because I was too scared or awkward to try. My question is, how do you stop feeling like your life is already passing you by when you haven't even started yet? Now, the reason I've chose this one is because I relate to it so much. I felt exactly the same. And I wonder how many people do feel like that at the age of 17. I mean, I felt like that, God, what feels like my whole life. But definitely when I was 15, I was feeling exactly the same. I was still in high school and feeling that. And it only got worse when I went to college, when time went on. It did only get worse as time passed, until a certain point, and it did change. And I'm trying to think why it changed, when it changed. Because the thing is, it will change. And obviously everyone's going to tell you this advice, but you are young. You're that young, you don't even know it. You don't even know that you're not meant to have that feeling that you've got it, that you know what you're doing, that everything's fitting in place and you're being perfect. Because I was the same. I had this pressure that I had to be someone and do something and be right with whatever I pick. I've only got a limited amount of time. I got to get rich while I'm young. I've got to love what I do when I'm young. I've got to have a girlfriend. I've got to have it all sorted. I've got to have a house by the time I'm bloody 18. You know what I mean? These are the thoughts. This is the pressure I was putting on myself to have it all figured out. But the thing with being 17 and why people are going to tell you you're young is because you've not even stepped into the real world yet. It's what my dad used to tell me all the time and says all the time. At that age, you've not stepped into the real world. And when you get told that, you think, yeah, right, shut up, you don't know what you're on about. But it's so true. It's so true because school is not the same as real life. Now, most people go to uni, and obviously I didn't have that experience personally. But I see it as you haven't stepped into the real world yet. And high school and college, you're not there. You're not experiencing what the rest of your life's gonna be like. You're in a stage of learning. And that's what you got to do when you're young. You've got to just learn. And the way you learn is you just do anything. What you're doing right now is a lesson of how to get up and go do what you want. Because I was the same. I always used to think, I want to do this, I want to do that. There's so many things I want to do and plan. But I also can't be bothered. I just want to either sit on my phone or sit watching TV, movies, play on my Xbox. That was me. And I think it wasn't until I properly started working at 19, like a full-time, proper job, going for some kind of career, or you have an idea of some kind of career. You know, the career I first originally picked, I obviously didn't stick at it. I changed, which is a lesson. So it's just the advice I would give of how to get up and get moving and be the person that you want to be with all this pressure that you're putting on yourself. To get there, you just need to do something and figure out what you do like and what you do want to do. And don't expect you to find it out straight away. People go the whole lives, and this is daunting, but people go through the whole life not knowing what they want to do. I know people who are 25, 26, 27 who don't know what they want to do. I know people older who don't know what they want to do. That's normal. Maybe it's just not reached you yet. And that's the feeling I used to have when I was 17. I used to think, I have no idea what I want to do. I remember being in college and we're all figuring out what career we want to, what's the next step, what career we want to do. Do we want to go to uni? Do we want to get a job, an apprenticeship, whatever? And I'm sat here thinking, I've got to pick one of those decisions, but I have no idea what I want to do. How am I meant to pick that decision? And knowing what I know now, you've got to work backwards. You got to find out what you don't want to do. And it's a process of elimination in a sense. Find something that isn't this. Give it a go. Quit. Try something else. If you know it's not for you. And that goes with any task at any age. When you're trying to get something done, you've just got to give it a go. You've just got to keep trying. You know, at 17, there were so many things I wanted to do. I wanted to be disciplined. I wanted to be able to think, right, I want to go work out. Let's go work out. Boom, done. That's what I wanted my life and my mindset to be. Or at college, right, this is work I need to do. Sit down, study, get it done. Then you can have fun. Never in a million years was that happening for me. At that age, at that time. I was nowhere near it. And even now as we've gone into the new year, I've not hit the gym fully. I've been lazy. And I'll admit it, I enjoy it. I enjoy being lazy in a sense. And knowing what I know now, it's okay. There's not this pressure. I have to get back in the gym January 1st. Oh my God, what are we? We're 3 weeks into January and I've not hit the gym fully. I've been for like 4 days since the start of the year, inconsistently. Oh my God, you're not disciplined. You're not in control. But all I know is I have faith in myself that I will get back to that position because I've had procedures in place where it just becomes my routine. And right now it's just nice to ease into it, to slowly go into it and to know, to have confidence in yourself that everything's going to be all right. I was thinking yesterday, about sometimes it feels for me like life just sorts everything out for me. That it just puts things in place. I have worries and I'm constantly worrying about it and thinking about how am I going to get there? How am I going to get to that goal, to get to that life over there that you dream of? How are you going to have that characteristic of yourself? You know, how do you I want to be confident. How do I get there? I'm always looking, how do I get there? How do I attain something? And it almost feels like it just happens no matter how hard I try. And it just takes time. It takes longer than I expect, longer than I want. But I eventually just do get there. And I was thinking the other day that if you just trust that, you just trust yourself that you will get there, can you just let go of all this worry? All these feelings of, I'm not going to do it. I don't know. Like with these videos, I have no idea if I'm going to ever get views on these videos. I don't think about it too much, if I'm honest. I don't want it to be my goal. I don't want that achievement of, I want attention. So I avoid thinking about getting views. I'm a success-driven person, so I'm aiming for a bit of success. Let's try and get the videos better. Let's try and get a way where I enjoy myself more. Where I keep myself continue loving doing this. You know, that's my focus rather than how do we get 1,000, 1 million, or 10,000 views. That's in the back of my mind because the more views I get, the more people I help. I'm trying to keep that as a solid foundation. And I have no idea when that's going to happen, when the views are going to come. And I was thinking, maybe you don't ever have to think about that. As long as you try your hardest, trying to figure stuff out, trying to be better, does it all just fall into place over time? And that's what it feels like for me, that I'm almost not in control of how the path is walked. I'm in control of what path we go on and the actions that I have on the path, but not in control of how I attain a goal, how long it takes. And when I was younger, I used to want it now. And I think that's what you're feeling at this moment. It's like, well, you want it now because you're worried that you're never going to get it, that you're going to get old and you're never going to get it because you don't have confidence, you don't have faith in yourself that you're going to attain anything because you're young. And that's what it means when people say, oh, you're young, relax, you got your whole life ahead of you. It's a sense that you haven't done enough yet, purely because of time. You haven't had the opportunity to do something for long enough. That means you learn and means you figure stuff out. And when you're young, you don't have a perspective of time. You don't have a perspective of how long something should take. And this is the frame you got to think of. If it's valuable, it's gonna take... If it's something that you want, it's something that's valuable, which means it's going to take effort and it's going to take a lot of time. Otherwise, you wouldn't want it because you'd have it so soon. And that's what you got to keep in mind to release the pressure. And it's not a negative that, well, I don't think it's a negative that you've got this mindset. You want to be better. You might want to be great. But at a foundational level, you want to be better. You want to improve. You've got aspirations. And to me, that's a fucking great thing. To have that mindset in compared to the other one. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to be anyone. You don't want to go anywhere. To me, sometimes that mindset scares me. Because it's like, why? And something I tell myself at 17, looking back now, one, I tell you obviously to relax, to chill out. I tell myself that now when I don't do it. But I tell myself to experience as much as you can. And that goes for the rest of your life. Don't put off something because you're scared, because you don't know how it's going to go. Just experience as much as you can And part of that is failure. Part of that is embarrassment, is quitting, is not even starting. But just experience it all. And really feel it all and really think about it all and what it all means to you. Because the more you do that, the more you learn, the more you grow, the more you get an understanding about life and about yourself. And you talk about you don't feel like you fit in. You don't feel like you have any friends. You've never been to a party. I'd never been to a party at 17. The first party I think I went to was when I was 18, I think nearly 19. And it was some guy's birthday in my class that I was kind of friends with. But I had mutual friends that were going as well. And he was kind enough to invite me, but I didn't expect to ever be invited. There was parties going on all the time in college when I was 17, 18. I was never invited to one of them. To be fair, I didn't even know that they were going on till later on. You feel like you're not getting any friends, but how out of your shell are you? How much effort are you putting in to make friends? Now, I filmed a couple of videos on how to make friends, and the gist of it is you just got to put yourself in the situation of being insecure and chatting to someone. It's awkward. It's embarrassing making friends. It feels weird, but everyone's feeling the same. Everyone wants more friends. Everyone's looking for cool people to hang out with, nice people, people they get along with. And if you don't see anyone like that, because it's school, because you're in a time of your life where you are restricted in who you see, you're surrounded by a bunch of people that you're not going to be surrounded by choice. And the thing is, when you leave education, you aren't surrounded by as many people anymore. At least I'm not. So then when you get to that point, the people you're surrounded by are people with similar interests, are your choices. You go to the gym, you get a hobby. You know what I mean? That's the best way to make friends. Get a fucking hobby. A team sport, a team hobby. And you can't force making friends. You've just got to be in the situation and again, kind of see what comes to you. As long as you're being open, being a bit brave in conversation, because everyone knows it can be awkward chatting. But the more you do it, the more you learn how to chat to people. The more, if you're nervous about it, the less nervous you become. The more you do it. And it's not the next person you're chatting to who's now going to become your best friend. It's just the next person you're talking to is going to develop the skill of getting friends, of conversating. And the thing with conversations is, it's just you sharing who you are. And the difficulty is, most of us aren't comfortable with who we are, so we find it difficult to conversate with people. We find it difficult to speak to other people because we're a bit embarrassed and insecure about ourselves, which is completely normal. And the thing is, you've just got to push through it because everyone's feeling the same thing. And you're not bullied, and you're seen but not seen. You're in the middle of the pack. I was in the middle of the pack as well. And there's so much more to life. And this is again why people say you're only young. It's because there's so much more to life that this experience that you're having is just an experience now. And you'll understand when you get older. You will. You'll look back and you'll laugh at yourself. And that's why you can try and take it a little bit lighthearted. It's hard. I'm not saying I'm perfect and I do all this now, but they're the tools, they're the way that you handle this situation of this anxiety about life and the pressure that's on. on that you've got to live your life. But you're 17. And if you're lucky, you've got 4 times what you've lived now. And half of that, you don't even remember because you're so young. But you'll be fine. You'll work it out. You'll figure it out. And you're meant to not feel like you've got it figured out. That's what people like to have control. People like to think that they've got it all sorted out. Because that's what you're meant to do. It feels like that's what you're meant to be like. But it's not reality. And the reality is things take fucking time. And as long as you work on yourself, as long as you got the attitude of wanting to improve, as long as you just keep going, you'll fucking smash life. Everything will be fucking sweet for you. Just make sure the information that you're taking in are good sources. Your podcast you listen to, your entertainment that you listen to. Make sure it's right for you. And mainly, just be you and figure out what you love and figure out what you naturally want to do. If you naturally want to sit at home on your phone, what are you watching? What entertains you? Delve into that idea. The answers are all around you, and most of the time, it's the most obvious things. I think like this all the time growing up, and I think about life like this, and I would always have problems that I'd be thinking about, imagining other people's situations, trying to help them, talking deeply through thoughts, and I thought everyone just did that. Until I realised that's what I enjoy. This is why I do this, because this is what I enjoy the most. And it was right in front of my face my whole life. Until one day you see it. But yeah, good luck, Alex. Peace.